What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'm doing race picks for the 2022 Cookout Southern 500. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. This week in the NASCAR Cup Series, heading to Darlington Speedway to kick off the round of 16 of the NASCAR Cup Series Plus, and also kick off the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series Plus as well. This is one of NASCAR's most toughest races, the Southern 500, every year. We see drivers push really the limits, and this race is going to be a really, really long race, but the 500-mile race is going to last up to 3 to even potentially 4 hours this weekend. It's going to test the drivers as we begin the playoffs as well. We start the playoffs this week. So, before we jump into the picks, let's take a look at the playoff grid heading into this weekend. So Chase Elliott will start off the playoffs with a 33-point gap. Then below you have Joey Logano, who's 18 points above the cutoff line, followed by Ross Chastain, who's 13 above. Kyle Larson is 12 points above the cutoff line entering the playoffs. You have William Byron, who's 7 above the cutoff line. Then you have a tie between Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney, who are both 6 points above the cutoff line, followed by Tyler Reddick and Kevin Harvick, who are both 5 above the cutoff line. You have Chris Bell, who's 4 above the cutoff line. You have Kyle Busch, who's 3, and you have Chase Briscoe, who's 2 above the cutoff line. 4 drivers sitting below. Daniel Suarez is 2 below the cutoff line. Austin Cindric is 3 below the cutoff line. Also, Alex Bowman is 3 below the cutoff line. And Austin Dillon sits 4 points below the cutoff line. I think this year is probably the toughest playoffs that we've had to predict in the history of the sport since the playoffs really started back, I think, 2004. Even this playoff bracket started in 2014. This could go anybody's way, and with how crazy this track is, I think the only driver that can really say that they're kind of safe going this weekend is Chase Elliott. So finally, let's get into picks. Before we also jump into picks, let's take a look at the weather for this weekend. So the weather for this weekend actually looks really, really good. It's going to be 88 degrees as a high, 70 degrees as a low, with right now only a 20% chance of rain with mostly cloudy skies. So the weather is going to be really, really kind of warm for the early September times, but I think the racing should be really, really good, and it's going to make the track really, really loose, and it's going to make the track very, very slick and produce some really awesome racing. So now finally, let's get into picks for this weekend here at Darlington. So here's how picks work on the channel. I do 2 suck picks, 2 drivers who I expect to struggle, who I think are going to have a good run, are going to continue bad slumps, or is just going to have one bad run. I've got 3 underdog picks this weekend, 3 drivers who I expect to continue really strong runs they've been having, or just have one really good run. And then I do the winner's pick as well, the driver I think is going to win. And then I do the ones to watch, and I've got 5 drivers besides the winner that you need to keep your eyes out on for this weekend at Darlington. So now, let's get into picks for this weekend. Who are my suck picks for this weekend at Darlington? My first suck pick for this weekend, this guy really had a great start to the 2022 season. Well, kind of a bad start, but a really good middle portion of the season. But really, as of recently, outside of Watkins Glen, the last 3 or 4 weeks, this guy has been really, really struggling. On top of that, this is a track where he has not ran really, really well at. I think Michael McDowell is going to have a really bad run this weekend for his standards. I think Michael McDowell is capable of getting a top 10, but I think Michael McDowell is going to run outside the top 20 this weekend. This has been historically one of Michael McDowell's really just one of his worst tracks that he's had throughout his Cup Series career or his NASCAR career in general. I think Michael McDowell is going to struggle, and I expect a bad run for Michael McDowell this weekend. My other suck pick for this weekend, this guy had a really bad race the last time we were here at Darlington, and historically, he's had some good runs at this track. In fact, he won this race back in 2018. But this guy, I think, is going to have a terrible run this weekend in the 6 car for RFK Racing. Brad Keselowski, I expect to struggle. The 6 team has really been kind of a hot mess this year, especially with that 100-point penalty that they've gotten. I just think right now there's really no momentum going into the 6 team currently at the moment. I think he's going to have a bad run. I expect Brad Keselowski to struggle this weekend here at Darlington. And now we're going to jump on to the underdog picks for this weekend here at Darlington. Who are my underdog picks? My first underdog pick for this weekend is a guy who just won the most recent race at Daytona, picking up his first win since 2020 and picking up his 4th career Cup Series victory. I'm going with Austin Dillon as my first underdog pick, and here's why. Not only does Austin Dillon have a ton of momentum going into this weekend, but Austin Dillon also, this has been one of Austin Dillon's best tracks. In fact, in all the 3 races in the round of 16, the races we have in the round of 16, this is going to be Austin Dillon's best opportunity, I think, is going to be the win. Because Austin Dillon got a top 10 here the last time we were here. So I think Austin Dillon is going to surprise a lot of people, and I think he'll contend for a top 10, and maybe will even contend for a top 5 this weekend. I think he's got a really good shot of having a good run. I expect Austin Dillon to have a really good run this weekend. My second underdog pick for this weekend, this guy just had a number swap for this weekend, but this guy has really been, since really the second half of the season, has been coming alive in the second half. And I'm going to go with Bubba Wallace, and here's why. The last time we were here at Darlington, Bubba Wallace had top 5 in top 10 speed and was running in the top 10 at a majority of race at a track that takes a lot of talent. So you know Bubba Wallace has a lot of talent. And let's also not forget, that was when 2311 Racing really did not have their stuff together. This time around, 2311 has been way, way faster. So I think Bubba Wallace is going to have a top 5 potential run in the 45 car this weekend. I think Bubba's going to have an amazing run, and I think that he will do really good in the 45. I think Bubba Wallace will contend for a top 5 this weekend. I think he has an awesome run. And the final driver that I have for the underdog picks this weekend, this guy is a teammate to Bubba Wallace, who will be in the 23 for 2311 this weekend, talking about Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs, in pretty much every single start he's had this year, has generally been really, really impressive in the Cup Series. For guys really behind a lot of the guys in the Cup Series right now, he has done really exceptionally well. So I think Ty Gibbs will have an amazing run in that 23 car this weekend. I think he does phenomenal. I think he'll have also that experience in the Xfinity Series that's really going to help him. And I think Ty Gibbs will not only have a shot at contending for a win in Xfinity, but could be an underdog surprise that could contend for a win this weekend in the Cup race. I would not be shocked if he wins this weekend in both races, but I think Ty Gibbs will have a good run this weekend here at Darlington. And now we're going to jump on to the winner's pick for this weekend here, or the Southern 500. Who's my winner's pick for the Southern 500? My winner's pick is a guy that has been historically really, really awesome at Darlington. But the one thing that he's not been able to do is win. But it seems like every time we're at this track, this guy's always really, really fast. Had a really good car last time we were here, but had an engine failure. In 2021, dominated this race, but ended up finishing second, tried to pull a video game move on Denny Hamlin, and ended up, unfortunately, finishing second. Was dominant here in 2018, was great in 2019, wasn't here in 2020, but was great in a lot of times we've been here at this track. I think Kyle Larson is finally going to get the monkey off his back at this track, and I think Kyle Larson is going to get his second win in the last 3 weeks and pick up his third win of the 2022 season. I'm going with Kyle Larson. Like I said, Kyle Larson has been really awesome and really great at this track throughout his career. That was really, unfortunately, how it ended. Last time here wasn't great, but I think Larson will get it done this weekend. Kyle Larson is my pick. I think he will win the Cookout Southern 500 and kick off the playoffs and get some really big bonus points that's going to need, especially when we get into the round of 12, when the round of 12 is going to have some really tough tracks for Larson there. I think Kyle Larson will pick up the victory in the Cookout Southern 500. So now we're going to jump on to the ones that you need to watch out for this weekend Southern 500. Who are the ones you need to keep your eyes out on? The first driver you need to keep your eyes out on is a guy who's been generally the best all year throughout the 2022 season, has best in every statistic, wins, top 5s, top 10s points, has the best average finish anybody in the field. And this guy kind of had an up and down performance the last time we were here at this track, but I think this guy will absolutely be a threat to win. I think he'll be one of Larson's biggest threats. Talking about Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott has really also been great at this track historically. I think the 9 team has got a lot of pace and a lot of speed right now. They've got a lot of momentum after winning the regular season championship. And I think Chase Elliott will have a shot to potentially get his 5th win of the 2022 season. And I think he could be absolutely a threat to win this weekend at Darlington. The second driver I think you need to keep your eyes on is a driver of 11 for Joe Gibbs Racing, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin has won here, I think, 2 or 3 times. Won back here in 2010. Won here in 2017, and also won here in, I believe, 2021 as well, and has won also here in 2020. So he's got 4 wins at Darlington. I think Denny Hamlin will be a threat to win. Now, Denny Hamlin, of course, is still nursing injury, which could affect him this weekend, but I still think Denny Hamlin will be good despite the injuries that he's had. I think that Denny Hamlin will absolutely be a threat to win in that 11 car. I think you're going to have to watch for Denny Hamlin. The third driver I think you need to keep your eyes on is a driver of the 4 car for Stewart-Haas Racing, Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick has been phenomenal at this track throughout his career. He's won here 4 or 5 times throughout his career. Won here in 2014, won in 2020, also won in both 2 races in 2020, and also has been really great at this track, won here 3 times. And also, Kevin Harvick is faster now than he was the last time we were here, where he actually got a top 5 finish, and that's when Stewart-Haas Racing wasn't as fast as they've been as of recently. So I think Kevin Harvick will be a threat to win for sure. Watch our Kevin Harvick in the 4 teams. I think you're going to have to keep your eyes on him this weekend. The 4th driver I think you need to keep your eyes out on is a driver I think that's going to be really strong. Got a top 5 the last time we were here. Actually finished runner-up the last time we were here at this track. Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick's been really good at talent-based racetracks. Who would have thought? I think Reddick will absolutely be great at this track with the Highline being more utilized. And I think with drivers like Reddick being good at this track and Xfinity and also getting that experience, I think Reddick will be a threat to win. I think he's got a shot to get it done. Keep an eye out on Tyler Reddick. I think he will be a threat to win this weekend. And the final driver you should watch out for this weekend here at Darlington is a driver of the 22 car and the defending winner of this race at Darlington, one of the defending winner of Darlington the last time we were at Darlington, Joey Logano. Joey Logano, he had won the last time we were here, but not only that, Joey Logano has a lot of momentum coming into this weekend. Joey Logano has not finished outside the top 15 in the last 5 or 6 straight races. So right now, he has a ton of momentum and a ton of speed going into the playoffs. So I think that he will be really fast this weekend in that number 22 car. I think he'll have a shot to get it done, and I think he won't have to basically use a bumper time around if he has to win. But I think Joey Logano will absolutely be a threat after dominating. I think Logano will be really strong this weekend in the Southern 500. So anyway, those are going to be the race picks for this weekend here in the Southern 500. Just a reminder, my suck picks are Michael McDowell, Brad Keselowski. My underdog picks are Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace, and Ty Gibbs. And my winner's pick is Kyle Larson. And the ones to watch out for are Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Tyler Reddick, and Joey Logano. So anyway, that's going to be our race picks for this weekend's Southern 500. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel notification to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links are just below that, and comment below your picks for this weekend's Southern 500. Tell me you think it's going to struggle. Tell me your 3 underdog picks, and tell me you think it's going to win. And let me know the drivers you're keeping your eyes out for this weekend's Southern 500. Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow on my channel, we are going to be having a NASCAR news video. Trust me, there's been a lot of NASCAR news that's been coming out over the course of the last 24 hours that we're definitely going to discuss. Then on Saturday, I'm not entirely sure what's going to be coming out. Sunday, we'll have the Cup Series race view for the Southern 500. And then we've got a lot of other content that's coming out on the channel here in the near future that I think you should look forward to. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. And I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.